The life of a crypto fund manager must be very different from that it was just a year ago. To talk about just how different, I've got Dan Moorhead, founder and CEO of Pantera. Dan, thank you for coming on Crypto Trader.
Thank you.
Dan, this October is slightly different from last October. Have you guys changed your investment strategy or what you guys look for between the 2 years?
Well, like Tim said, I think this is a multi-decade thing, and so we're always trying to look out quite a ways. And I've been involved in Bitcoin since 2011 and seen several of these cycles already. There's going to be, a dozen more before this thing's fully played out. So you have to be investing, for the multi-year approach.
So investing for the multi-year approach, I fully understand. But when I read the article that was published about you guys, where one of your funds, if I'm not mistaken, it performed at negative 70% year to date. I can kind of imagine the phone call that you have to make to investors and say, look, you gave us money and today your money is at minus 70%. How do your LPs respond to something like that?
Yeah, so luckily we have always been saying this is a multi-year trade, and so our LPs have been, they were really happy when it was up 350% last year. Obviously they're frustrated it's down this year, but it's actually a great time to get invested because all these assets are much cheaper than they've been.
So let's talk about that because, people always say that, when the market's down, that's the time to be investing. You guys announced that you raised a new fund pretty recently. I think it was about a $75 million fund. Where did that money come from?
Yeah, so, the Bitcoin market's more manic than even the normal markets. And I want to share a strategy, which is not super common in the Bitcoin industry: buy low, sell high. And it is amazing how people just, it's human nature to be very pro-cyclical. And we've had, Pantera Bitcoin Fund's been around for 6 years, so we've seen all these cycles. And we actually calculated the percentage of inflows coming in at the lows and each bucket up to the highs. And it really is wild. The amount of time Bitcoin spent in each bucket's been very normally distributed, very beautiful bell curve. And then now we're back to, Bitcoin's basically a buy one, get two free sale now, right? Like it's a third the price it was at the end of last year. Human nature is pro-cyclical, and like when the market's at its highs in December and the FOMO devil is whispering in your ear, it's so easy to want to buy. And then now when it's down, you don't want to tell your spouse you're going to buy something that's down 70% because that seems crazy, but that's actually the time to buy.
Are you still investing in ICOs? And if you are investing in ICOs, have you moved beyond the protocol plays? Are we all protocoled out?
Yeah, it's actually, I love that question. Are you still investing in ICOs? Like it's dead and it's over. And the reality is, ICOs have been around since Mastercoin in 2013, right? And Ethereum in 2014, and my partner's project Augur in 2015. They've been around for a long time. And our fund has been buying one or two a month for a long time. In May of last year, it exploded to, we were getting 50 a week of inbound, token projects. And then now, it's essentially gone back to normal. There's one or two really interesting projects a month.
So there's been a lot of criticism about the utility token. People here at this conference have said that, when you're buying a utility token, you're buying vaporware. Are you a believer in the utility token? Do you believe that it is one of the most powerful financial instruments of this decade?
Oh, I am, and I actually have to admit, I kind of don't understand what you'd buy a token that isn't useful for. Like a utility token seems self-evident that is what you're supposed to be buying. Bitcoin's the first utility token. It doesn't charge fees. There isn't an equity behind it. There's no discounted cash flow stream. The only value to Bitcoin is if people find it useful. 6-7 years ago, there was a few 100,000 people that thought Bitcoin was useful. Now there's 50 million people, so it's 100 times the price it was 6 years ago. And if 5 years from now, 500 million people think it's useful, it'll go up in value. So our fund investments are essentially all utility tokens.
Wait until the Africans find out about Bitcoin and the fact that they can use Bitcoin to bypass their governments.